The housing market is making 18 millions of Americans going house poor. And no one is warning you. Not your family, not your friends, and certainly not your real estate agent. CBS News recently reported that home prices are up 50% since 2020. And most Americans are stretching their budgets just to compete.
How do y'all enjoy your weekends when you're broke? Am I the only one saying this? But like, you ever work all week, you realize you ain't got no money, then the weekend rolls around, and you think to yourself, I can't enjoy it because I got no money to do nothing.
What it really means to be house poor. Let's just define that. It is not just your mortgage payment. It is when your home eats up so much of your income that there's nothing left for life. Not for a coffee, not for a date out with your significant other. None of that thing is left because all of the money is going into maintaining your property and keeping your mortgage. You have the house, but you have no peace of mind. You have no vacation. You don't have discretionary income to do other things. Chase Bank defines being house poor when you spend more than 30% of your income in housing related expenses. Think about it. Most families nowadays have to spend over 50% just to have a house and pay for utilities, HOA fees, condo fees, whatever they have. So what is left is just very little. And sometimes on top of that, you have to pay for student loans, you have to pay for retirement or save for retirement, you have to pay for health insurance, car payments, car insurance. And then if you have a family, kids like me, you have to think about their also tuition, college, university, etc. So it's really, really very tight for many families and individuals. The question is, why are so many Americans going house poor in 2025? Let me give you the equation. Rising prices plus stubborn inflation equals, according to CBS News, 1 in 3 buyers say they feel financially stressed after moving into their home. Even if interest rates will drop to 0%, you still wouldn't be able to afford today's home prices. And this is from a Yahoo article that broke it down that even at zero interest rates, most people won't be able to afford their homes, which is a very sad story and truth of the American families.
People are broke, and now there's proof showing up in the numbers. Kellogg's reported an 8.6% drop in cereal sales. Crocs pulled its entire financial forecast. Heineken says people are drinking less. And even global giants like Nestle are seeing sales fall across the board.
But you will think people will consider some red flags when things like this will occur. Like when you know you are maxing out the amount of money that you have every month to cover your living expenses, you should probably think that there will be something, a kind of some warning, right? Well, people sometimes ignore it, and some people sometimes don't even notice it. Here are some red flags for that I've seen that it tells me that you are about to become house poor. You're buying a house, you're maxing out your pre-approval. Just because the bank says you can buy a house up to $800,000 doesn't mean that you have to buy a house that high. Remember, the most important number, how they make you comfortable, it's your monthly payment, your mortgage monthly payment plus other expenses. That's the most important number, not the number that the banks give you. Another big red flag is you have to dip into your emergency fund to buy your next house. Another one is no leftover budget for other things like maintenance, emergencies, home inspection items that you have to take care of, childcare, inflation, you name it. If you feel the pressure after penciling out your budget, it's already probably too much. Like everything in life, planning is everything. If it is in writing, it will take place. If it is not in writing, most likely will never get done. I highly recommend you plan ahead for all of the things that you want to do, either by yourself, with your significant other, with your family, but there should be always a plan of action. Try to stick to the 28 to 30% of take home pay for all the housing related expenses. This will include your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, and your HOA condo fees. Try to keep or build, already have built after all your expenses of buying a house, 3 to 6 months of savings or emergency fund. All this right after closing. If your monthly payment is going to be $2,000 a month, and you are putting a 3% down payment on whatever the price it is, so that means that you should have a minimum of $9,000 after closing and paying all your expenses, up to $12,000. Keep in mind that also buying a house has other expenses that people always and most of the time oversee, like moving expenses, buying new furniture, buying a new TV. So you have a lot of these things. People are going to buy a house with they own an electric vehicle and the house doesn't have a plug, then you have to pay an electrician to come and do these things. These are most of the time things that people will ignore. Don't buy dream features if they will come at a cost of added stress to you. What I mean it is, if you don't know what you're getting into it, or if it doesn't make any sense to buy it, don't buy it. Don't upgrade to things that you don't need. Like, for example, if you only need to have internet at home after buying your property, but you don't need to have cable because you're going to be streaming, then don't buy the fancy package of TV, and probably even not going to be home to watch TV. I always tell people, buy the home that fits your life, not just the lender's number. And since this channel is about coaching people to make smart moves, so today I'm going to tell you, based on what I've seen from other clients, what some of my savvy buyer clients are doing now. Number one, they're budgeting their expenses or spending. Start by listing all your income and expenses: housing, utilities, groceries, insurance, HOAs, condo fees, car payments, all of those things. Remember, you cannot fix what you don't track. A budget is your manual. A budget is the document you will review. If you are overspending, that means the money has to come from somewhere. If you have a surplus, that means that you have discretionary income to use for other things. But when you're not seeing the numbers, you're not tracking it, you're not making sense of anything. I remember many years ago, one of my coaches said to me, well, Robert, if you really want to do well in real estate, then you have to actually need to be tracking your numbers. And it didn't make sense at the beginning, but then after a while it did. The same happens with people that want to lose weight, right? If you start tracking your numbers, you get on the scale every morning, you track your weight, and then you said, okay, today I didn't gain nor lost any pounds. So that means life continues. But if you gain more, then you have to make adjustments on what you're eating, or how many times are you eating, or your portions. And if you're losing, that means you should be probably eating about the same. This is not a health channel or anything like that. I'm just giving you a very simple example so that you later on can say, well, you're too complicated, Robert, for me. You make things very difficult. It is not difficult. If you bring $2,000 to home and you have to stay within that 30% of your expenses, you do the math and then you know exactly what you need to be spending. Of course, this is just very low numbers, especially for Montgomery County. Manage your mortgage payments wisely. Keep your house monthly payments under 25 or 35% of your gross income, or 25 to 30% of your net, what you take home every month. This, as I said, will ensure you have additional money for other things that you may need. Always, always, always maintain emergency money available. A lot of my clients, when we're working on the numbers, we always ask the question with my loan officer: after the purchase of this house, do you have enough money for emergency funds? And that equals to 3 to 6 months of your mortgage payment. If they tell us they don't have that money, then we need to talk more about that. We're not financial advisors, but one thing for sure is I don't want someone to come later and tell me you never told me about that. That's not the way I operate. I like to operate with all the cards on the table. And if you're going to make a decision, even though I advise you not to do it, it's on you. But I want to make sure that you made the right decision for yourself and your loved ones. If you can refinance your property and you feel in a stretch with your monthly payments and interest rates at the given time that you want to refinance, allow it for you to refinance and bring down your monthly payment, go ahead and do it. Here's a good rule of thumb for me, because refinancing means you have to buy the house yourself. You have to pay some closing expenses, transfer and recordation taxes, attorney's fees, as well as the loan officer fees. If after paying all those fees, the reduction per month is a minimum of $200, go ahead and do it. Ideally, you want to see a reduction between $300 and $400 per month. If that is the type of reduction you're going to be receiving after refinancing your house, go ahead and do it. If it's only for $100, I would just say wait just a little bit more. If you're thinking about buying a bigger house, smaller house, or just buy a house this year, but don't want to become house poor, well, this is the channel that you need to be watching to understand how to make a savvy move. If you comment house poor here on this video, I will send you my free budgeting spreadsheet. Very simple, super friendly, where you can start looking into your numbers. Even if you already have a house and you want to kind of like come up with some type of budget or just work some of the numbers, I'll send it to you for free. Just comment here below and I'll drop the link. You can also book me for a non-pressure strategy call if you have any questions about your current situation. You need an agent in another part of the country, I'd be more than happy to help you find one that can coach you and guide you through the home buying process. Remember, your home should give you freedom, not stress. That's it, everybody. I'm Robert Garcia here, licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. If content like this is what you like and enjoy, give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe if you can, and I promise I'll bring you content just like this every week. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye bye.